Hey everyone, my name's Dave, and today on my quest to beat everything, we return to Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. We pick up right where we left off at the end of last episode, having leveled up and taken control of our second companion, Abelard. So let's not waste any more time and just progress forward into the Navigator Sanctum. And here we'll meet our newest companion, Idira, who is the diviner of Lady Theodora.
Of the blinded guide, doom comes from the heavens.
Master, watch your head. Idira, would it be too much to ask that you phrase your soothsayings plainly for once? That was too close.
Sorry, old man. Their voices are so loud I can't even hear myself. They shriek, they sing, they... Oh, Abelard, how they sing.
This is Idira, personal psyker and diviner of Her Ladyship Theodora von Valancius. Idira?
I'm not drunk, old man. I'm suffering the effects of the warp that is seeping through these walls. I see the ship's fate. To die in the waves of the Imperium, fall under the burning rays of the final dawn. And in the roaring blaze, I see a figure standing. Who is it? I have no answer.
I think we'd like to find out what she's doing here.
The whispers called me. The ones I could make out among all the screams and screeches. Those who are rocking this boat hit us where it hurt. They went after the Navigator, our guide through the warp. Other whispers called me to the Engineerium, but it was too late. I heard the cry of our master Cog, and the silence that followed.
What? You don't mean the Engineer Prime is...
Said, without a doubt. And the voices wail, heralding countless nightmares, cackling at each soul among the hundreds that are now joining the warp. The shriek from the Navigator Sanctum was louder than the rest. And it's better that we saved the Navigator than some lever puller from a cooling module or a cook from the middle decks.
Officer's frequency. To all who can hear me, those with a weapon in their hands are to gather on the officer's deck at once. I repeat, gather on the officer's deck at once and prepare to launch a counterattack.
That's Ethelthrat. Oh, Emperor's Providence. The other heir lives as well. Quickly, we must head to...
Not so fast, old man. If we drown in the warp, Lady Theodora's heirs won't be any good to us. If Ethelthrat's like me and hasn't yet surrendered his mind or body to the mercy of the warp, then he can still hold on a little longer without us.
Blast it. You're right. First, we need to deal with what is happening here.
Before we progress, we may as well find out some more information about Idira.
The voices from beyond the threshold whisper to me. Sometimes their murmurs are clear, they grant insight. Sometimes they drive me mad. But I am patient. I know how to listen and discern. But now, with this clamor around me, too many voices, too loud. And you, von Valancius, are a sorcerer too, just like the other one. Lady Theodora must have grown so fond of psychers she wants one to replace her. What? You think Lady Theodora didn't ask me to peek into the darkness behind the backs of those she sees as her prospective heirs? I have seen you. I have seen the footsteps of your past and the wounds of your heart.
Well, that's not at all unsettling. I think that's everything we're going to get from Idira, so we can progress forward now and into the Navigator Sanctum.
Oh no. No. Nothing is well about him. Can't you feel the chill crawling on your skin? The eyes watching you? The warp ice has already encased the bulkheads. What follows is calamity. But we're not just going to stand here and take it, are we? The state of things in here suggests there's a navigator around. Maybe one who's crippled or at death's door, but still kicking. And since our skin hasn't peeled off our faces just yet, his third eye must be closed. At worst, it's a little roughed up. So what are we moping around for? Let's go protect that noble mutant while we're still alive.
It's probably a good idea. But first, let's have a look at our newest companion. So Idira is, like us, a psyker. While we are more of a melee-focused psyker, Idira focuses more on applying exploits to enemies, analyzing enemies, and using some ranged psychic abilities, which you'll see very shortly. She's got a nice split of stats here with high perception and willpower. So we'll progress through the door here and into the Navigator Sanctum.
Here we go again.
So we're seemed to be up against what looks like a couple of melee heretics and a couple of ranged heretics. We'll start by positioning Abelard in close melee range so he can get in with a nice charge right away. And same with Kassius, just on the opposite side. Idira can hang back a little bit as she's a little bit squishier and hasn't got much in terms of melee offense. Or now that I think about it, with the heretics going first, we'll keep our guys back a little bit just so they can use up some of their movement.
Stop mocking me.
Death to the weak. Your efforts amuse me.
So a couple of rounds of combat. We're going to start off then with Idira, who has access to the Lightning Arc ability, which is quite helpful here. She also has her Psychic Shriek, which is more of a single target. Her Analyze Enemy, which applies exploits to targeted enemies, which debuffs them. So we'll open up with a Chain Lightning on these three enemies up here. You have to be careful with Chain Lightning, as it can also affect close by friendly units. And Idira starts off strong with 2 confirmed kills.
That is not my destiny.
And we'll just use her Analyze Enemies on the one next to Kassius. Then with Abelard, I think it's an easy turn here. We're just going to charge in at this Heretic Psyker. And we're going to get off a second melee attack then, which unfortunately doesn't quite finish him off, leaving him on 1 HP. Kassius' turn then. We're going to, as always, start off with our Iron Arm. And then, not much else we can do, we'll just hit him with a melee attack. Unfortunately, we can't charge out of here. There's no enemies in range. So at that, the heretics will take their turns. The Psyker tries to move away and gets killed by Abelard. And the other sharpshooter goes into cover, but doesn't do much. So here we'll get to see Idira's Psychic Shriek ability, which is a single target high damage attack. And once again we'll analyze the remaining brawler. Forewarning is another buff we can apply on friendly units, which increases their parry and dodge chance. And then I think we can finish off this encounter with Abelard and another charge.
I took care of this one.
And with that we find ourselves in front of the Navigator, who doesn't seem to be in a particularly good state. Not looking too good.
I believe Master Voss-Kaine still lives. Well, the servants are dead, but the chamber, thank the Emperor, is still sealed from the warp. Well, we have a chance of leaving this place alive.
I think we'll let Abelard take the lead here.
Master Voss-Kaine,
Your time is short.
Let's see if you can elaborate on that.
Fall to your knees, mortals, and behold the final dawn.
Ah! It came from beyond! His body is not his!
Its march thunders under the burden of hopes. Unseal your hearts, and I will flood your souls with myriads of words and meanings, each one a portent of salvation within me.
Run. Flee from this place while I still have the strength. I can contain the intrusion, but not for long. We must begin the translation. Leave the warp. But it can't be done without the Master Helmsman's help.
We're still a little out of our depth here, so I think we'll let Abelard continue to take the lead.
The ship can only begin the translation with the assistance of the Master Helmsman, if he is still alive. It is worth a try. We must get to the bridge, but we will need support. Our only option is to fight our way to the officer's deck and join forces with Edelthrad and his people. I believe we will also find Lady Theodora there. She must have heard the call to arms that the servo skull relayed to us earlier.
Vespaidas, good luck. And thank you.
Your seneschal is always there for you.
So we'll take a moment to take a look at the Navigator, who appears to be dead, and then we'll take some time to collect up all of the loot from the heretics that we took out. With nothing else of note in that room, we'll continue back out into the hallway we entered from. And on the end here is just a locked door, so we can turn back around and head straight for the entryway to this area. And head back to the officer's deck. Seems we missed something, so we'll collect that here too. Everywhere we go on this ship, we can't seem to catch a break. Things aren't looking too good here either.
Your ship's as good as ours! It's all over for you!
Although things start to look up.
I shall pity not your enemies. I shall heed not their pleas.
Somebody shoot these...
I shall betray not your tenets, nor stray one step from them. Take not your gaze from me. Leave me not without your grace.
I told you he would protect us.
My God, my light, my Emperor.
And here we have our third companion, in the form of Sister Argenta, who is a sister of the Adeptus Sororitas.
Sister Argenta! Sister Argenta, it is a relief to see you. We require all the forces we can muster.
Your face, it is unfamiliar. Who are you?
She doesn't seem like someone we should antagonize, so in this case we'll just tell her exactly who we are.
The hour is dark and daunting. The ship abounds with corruption. The faces of friends are twisted by sneers of heresy. The eyes of comrades ignite with the arch-enemy's hunger. I will do what I must to halt the advance of the dark forces. But in these dire moments, little can be trusted. So I must know, why are you here?
Sister, I beg of you. Now is not the time for interrogations. The ship is under attack by heretics. We've been betrayed by our esteemed Master of Whispers. Edelthrad the heir is waiting for our aid, and Lord Captain Theodora is expecting a report on our success. We are here to deal with the situation, so I suggest we all do just that.
The Seneschal is right. I think we should leave this for later.
Very well. We may leave it at that, for now. I cannot wait to rain righteous fire down upon each and every heretic.
Before we progress, I think there's time for a couple of questions. Let's see what she's doing here.
Sister Argenta is a guest of the Lord Captain. And that story deserves its own time and conversation. Under more appropriate circumstances.
Enough idle chatter. I am where I must be, and that will suffice.
Overseer of Middle Deck AL-84, my lord. We were rounding up everyone we could find in the attack compartments when we ran into an ambush. Just about every enforcer fell. These are the survivors. Massacre, my lord. And heretics are not just killing the crew. Some kind of blight is sweeping through the decks, filling the air. I saw people going mad the moment they breathed it in, screaming about seeing their dead comrades, tearing out their eyes. I implore you, my lord, be on your guard.
Okay, that's enough of that. I think we can move on.
Through this door. I shall join you, for it is my duty to the God Emperor to destroy this heresy.
We will follow. For now, we will hold off any heretics who might try to crawl in through the cracks to join the main assault. And we'll take a look at the generators while we're at it. Those villains made a mess of the cables. Oh, I wish we had a Tectomat with us. But we'll see what we can do without one.
Good to hear it. Sister?
Ready. May Terra's light illuminate our path through fire and darkness.
And with that, Argenta has joined our party. So Argenta is more of a ranged-focused companion. She has quite a few ranged abilities. She has a fairly good ballistic skill, as well as good medicae and awareness. She's also a bit of a demolitionist, so we'll be using her in cases of needing to use demolition checks, which I don't think we'll have to wait too long before we see. From here then, we'll grab some goods from this crate. We'll get some nice cargo, as well as a new axe and a shield that we could potentially equip on one of our companions, but for now we'll just leave it in the inventory. Then down the end of this corridor we find another goods container containing a few more trade goods. With everything looted, we can now open this door. Moving forward into a kind of a gallery area where we find another group of heretics. And we'll waste no time moving forward, and we'll just get right into engaging with them.
Doom has been foretold.
Seems to be the standard setup of a couple of melee units and a handful of ranged units as well. More ranged here, it seems, than we would normally be dealing with. So we'll go ahead and place Abelard up front to get an early charge, along with Kassius. And then for Idira, we'll hold her back, and for Argenta, we will do the same. And with that, we can start the battle. So we'll open up strong here with Idira using another chain lightning.
On it.
Very quickly taking two of the enemies off the board and doing some serious damage to the third. With that, we'll analyze the heretic that's next to Abelard.
I serve the ruinous powers!
With Kassius, as always, we'll start off with Iron Arm to buff ourselves. And we'll keep it simple and go with a normal slash, which unfortunately is parried. There doesn't seem to be anything in range for us to charge, unfortunately, so with that we'll end his turn.
Death to non-believers!
And here's where we get to see Argenta's loadout. So she's got an ability Run and Gun, which allows her to move and shoot a second time on her turn. She also has this volley of 4 shots, which has a lower chance to hit, but can hit 4 potential enemies in a single go. We'll open up with one of these right down the middle.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
And unfortunately, all 4 miss. So we'll cast Run and Gun here, giving her another bit of movement, which we could potentially use here, but there's no real point. We'll just go ahead with another volley of shots.
As the Emperor commands.
And finally here, the last 3 hit and wipe out 2 more targets. And then we are met with some reinforcements. Argenta's last ability here, Furious Recital, grants some momentum, which doesn't really play any effect here because we can't access our decisive actions. So we'll go ahead and end the turn.
Out of my way!
Abelard here will keep it simple and just strike the guy in front of us.
Indeed. Reduced to dust!
And then, unfortunately, we can't charge behind because Kassius is blocking the path, so all we can do is pass. With Idira, we're going to move up a little bit closer to stay in the action. And we'll get another chain lightning here. Which unfortunately doesn't kill anything, but does do a serious amount of damage. We'll then analyze one of these heretics. And we'll end our turn.
Death to the weak!
My prescience has failed me.
Now on Kassius' turn we can do a little bit more. We're going to move in here and hopefully finish this guy off with a strike. We'll cleave both of these guys.
I will triumph.
And unfortunately for us, nothing comes of it, and this guy back here is a little bit out of range for our charge. We'll move Argenta up. And we'll send a volley of shots towards the group of heretics in front of her.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Only one lands true, unfortunately, and that's all for Argenta.
My place is at the fore.
Abelard then will move back to get into a position to charge the heretic on our backlines. Finishing him off with a charge and then a strike.
I took care of this one. At your beck and call.
Chaos guides me.
Now we'll just do a standard strike with Idira. There's no need for anything fancy here, just to clear off the guy in front of her. And we'll analyze the heretic at the back to add a few more exploits to him. We'll then cast Forewarning on Idira herself to increase her dodge chance. Which unfortunately doesn't pay off here, as she still takes another 2 damage. Back to Kassius. I'm going to move him up slightly just so we can get into a better charging position before he finishes off this cutthroat. Unfortunately for us, the cutthroat does dodge, which means once again we're going to end Kassius' turn. With Argenta here, we're going to move her forward to get into a better position to deal with these sharpshooters. She only has 2 shots remaining in her bolter, so we're going to see if we can get lucky here. And we do land 1, finishing off one of those sharpshooters. No point casting run and gun here, as she has no ammo left. Abelard then can push forward to get into a nice position to charge, which I seem to have moved him a little bit short for, although I can still move him a little bit further.
A tactically sound approach.
And we're just gonna fire off a volley here with his pistol.
I serve the ruinous powers.
My prescience.
Idira's not looking too good, so hopefully we can wrap this up soon. She'll finish off the cutthroat in front of her with a melee strike.
Be gone.
before casting Forewarning on herself again.
Is that you? Or...
And Kassius is going to leave the sharpshooter over there up to Abelard and move into a position where he can charge a little bit closer and get a volley off with his pistol, which is just enough to wipe out that assailant. Argenta then can push back to focus on the remaining enemy. She'll reload her bolter and fire one shot to finish off the encounter.
The Emperor sets my path. Join me in prayer.
So we're going to very quickly run over to Idira with Argenta and heal that wound so it doesn't cause us any issues later on, and then we'll quickly pick up all of the loot from these corpses. Now just a little bit of cleanup in this room. There are quite a few containers, so we can loot from this corpse here, where we will find a machine right set as well as a key. And then on this bookshelf next to that, just a few more trade goods. Finally, on the table there seems to be some scrolls, which contain a few more trade goods. Following that up along the wall here, we can interact with this console, and we can either use our logic skill or the machine right set that we just picked up. We're going to hold on to that though and use the logic skill here. With a 90% chance, it seems pretty guaranteed. And that opens up this side area here where we can find a few more items. In this container we get, again, some more trade goods, and then in the safe we managed to find a few melta charges as well as some gloves. We're going to immediately equip those gloves onto Kassius. And then we're finished here. Following this left side up, there's a few more panels we can interact with, but unfortunately they don't do anything. We'll loot some more corpses, and then just up here on the left there is another scroll stand that we can loot for a few more trade goods. And then on the opposite side of the stairs, on this shelf, we find even more trade goods. Nothing else in this room. We can move up the stairs and use the melta charges we found on this door to pass through onto the officer's deck. This is where Argenta's demolition skill comes in handy.
The Emperor favors me today.
And we once again level up here. So before we progress, we'll assign some new points. At this level, we gain some key features to our classes. So Kassius gets the Endure skill, which grants him some deflection as well as 10 temporary hit points, and he can cast this once every turn, so as long as he has the action points. Being also a warrior, Abelard gets the same skill. Idira, on the other hand, gets something a little different. Expose Weakness allows her to expend all of the exploits on a target and reduce their dodge, parry, and armor stat based on the number of exploit charges that are on the target, which is quite helpful. Argenta then gains this skill Revel in Slaughter, which after she achieves 3 kills in a combat encounter, she gains quite a few buffs to her ballistic skills, critical damage, and critical hit chance. And with that, we can progress forward out onto the officer's deck. We're first going to head up here to the left, where we can find some more goods in a toppled bookshelf, as well as this door that we can open up either using a multi-key or our tech skill. We can also use those melta charges we found earlier, and Argenta can blow her way through, which is what we're going to do here. On the inside, we find another body, which we can loot for a helmet. With nothing else in here, we're going to equip that helmet onto Idira just to give her a little bit more survivability. And with that, we can head back the way we came, looting another corpse for another multi-key. With nothing else to loot, then we can progress onto the bridge, where unfortunately we are hindered by a series of explosions, creating an impassable wall of flame. All is not lost, however, because it seems that the rogue trader has walked through the flames to aid us.
Are you lost, my heir?
apparition. A sorceress. Apparition. Trickery of the warp.
Sister, you will lower your weapon. Threatening the Lord Captain is outrageous.
I think we'll ask the most obvious question here is, how did you get here?
I am a rogue trader. I am wherever my will demands me to be. Would you prefer to be elsewhere at this time? Indubitably. But are you ready? I can lead you out of these flames, show you a path, rid you of pain, and give you a weapon so that you may defeat your enemies. Decide.
Do not listen to this abomination. If there is naught but his light in your heart, if you are resolute in your faith, then step into the flames. The Emperor protects. His faithful will not be deterred by either darkness or deceitful promises. Nor will the fire burn those who carry the torch of faith in their soul.
To the void with you. We need to follow Lady Theodora before we suffocate in this furnace.
The people! The survivors from the middle decks! We must help the crew! Lead them out! Find a way around!
Then we'll miss our chance to meet up with Edel. What are we waiting for?
And here's where we get to set the tone for the rest of the playthrough. So we're given 3 options for the 3 different convictions. And for us, we will be taking the middle option here, and we're going to accept the offer for help. We'll be taking this choice because the heretical conviction grants us access to 1 extra achievement that is not available on dogmatic or iconoclast. So with that, we reach out our hand and we take Theodora's.
I will show you the way. Go on. Close your eyes.
Now we find ourselves in complete safety in a different room altogether. This room looks like some kind of a trophy hall, so we're just going to interact with some of the points of interest here.
What is this place?
And loot some of these containers. So in this goods container here we find a couple more relics and trade goods, which we will collect. And then on this weapons display we find a rather nice corrupted Inferno pistol with a damage of 10 to 16 and an armor penetration of 50%. This looks like it'll come in handy in the near future. We'll take that and we're going to immediately equip that onto Kassius. With nothing else to do in here, we can interact with this hidden door and exit out into what looks like a rather grandiose bedroom. We can only imagine whose bedroom that is, and across the hall it seems to be a kind of a bathhouse. With nothing of real interest here, we can head back out into the main room, where we are met with a rather grim sight indeed, in the fact that the rogue trader is actually dead at her desk.
Emperor, accept thy faithful souls.
No! Lord Captain, I didn't hear a thing. Not a whisper, not a breath. It was so loud. Why didn't I foresee this?
Lord Captain. Who would even dare? Unless that rat, Voidsphere. First, betrayal. Now, the murder of the rogue trader. And Mort. How could Mort have failed her so terribly? The Arch-Militant was born on a death world. He had lightning-fast reflexes.
I can look at things in my own way. If you find something that might bear the imprint of the killer, just give it to me, and I'll try to see what secrets it holds.
Okay, so making use of Idira's ability, we're going to examine Theodora's body. Cause of death here seems to be an auto-pistol shot, extraordinarily accurate. Although something on the floor, there seems to be some small shards. Let's inspect those shards. The shards appear iridescent, as if they had been submerged in promethium, which is a kind of fuel.
I see streaks of color, luminescence, blue lights, faces drawing closer. Lady Theodora and Conrad and what is that? Ah! Something dark, enormous. Oh, this glass thing was something foul, that's for sure. Tainted witchcraft.
Let's have a look at these papers. They seem to be a handwritten letter that are initialed XC. I wonder if any of our companions can shine some lights on that. Based on our own knowledge, this seems to be someone of the Inquisition. Perhaps that's a lead we can follow up later on. For now, let's ask Idira to see if she can gain anything from touching Theodora's body.
It doesn't work like that. I can try to read the memories of objects, but dead bodies are a different story. Something like that would require her soul. And after what we saw on the officer's deck, I won't risk searching for it in a warp.
Well, with nothing else to look at, let's also inspect the body of the Arch-Militant. It seems that Mort was also shot through the head with an auto-pistol, although the safety of his weapon is off and he seemed to have only been a split second too slow.
Yes, the crucible of battle calls to me once more.
No, wait! We must see if we can find anything!
Idira, you can't bring her back. Let her go.
You'd give up so easily, old man? I expected as much from the sister. It's not like she has a heart. But you? Oh no. I'll get to the bottom of this. I'll find the one responsible for murdering the Lord Captain. And when I do, that scum will regret the day they were born.
With the inspections concluded, we'll take a quick look around. There's a few containers we can loot here. Namely this safe in the back corner, where we'll find a cloak that increases fellowship. In the container at the other side of the room, there are some sort of beads, a rosary that also increases our commerce skill.
The world trembles beneath my feet.
With the rest of the room made up of points of interest, we'll just speed through this area. Then we'll take a moment to equip both the cloak and the rosary onto Kassius. And on our way to the bridge, it's not long before we are unfortunately once again interrupted by a band of heretics. They seem to have brought themselves a friend this time in the form of a combat servitor. Luckily for us though, this one seems to be already quite damaged. So we'll take a moment to set up our party members here. Placing Kassius up and to the left, Abelard up and to the right. Idira can hang out where she currently is in some cover, and Argenta on the opposite side of her also in cover. Starting the battle then, we go first with Abelard. We're going to charge in to both of these cultists. And then we're going to use our cleave to attack these two, and luckily wiping both of them out. With nothing else to do on our turn, we'll pass to Kassius, where we will cast Iron Arm as always.
I will triumph.
Before giving our Inferno Blast Pistol a try here. With a 60% and a 59% chance to hit, that looks pretty good.
One step closer.
And we'll end our turn with an Endure, seeing as we can cast it every turn. Idira goes next, and we're going to send a volley of bolter fire. Luckily all 4 shots hitting, but scoring no kills. So we'll cast her run and gun ability and do the same again.
As the Emperor...
Finishing off one of the heretics, and then a second falls as well. We'll give Furious Recital a cast to gain some momentum. Again, this doesn't really do anything now, unfortunately, because you don't have access to our decisive actions. And then from Idira, we're going to cast Chain Lightning on that back heretic, wiping out the remaining heretics, leaving only the combat servitor left. And with that, we will analyze the servitor and cast Forewarning on Abelard, because he seems to be in the most pressing danger. With a rather devastating hit of 12 damage, we now take over Abelard. We're going to first move back just enough to be out of range and being able to cast a charge, which we will do so immediately, charging in for a solid hit.
An exemplary strike.
Following that up with just another strike, and then using our last action to cast Endure on ourselves. Kassius then will do the same, moving up close enough to get a charge.
Conquer. I need no guidance.
And following that up with another strike. And an Endure. Argenta then is going to move into a better position.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury.
And it looks like we can get a volley off, but I would rather not risk the small chance of hitting Abelard, so we're just going to fire a single shot instead.
I'll do it.
And that's all that Argenta can do. So we'll again move forward with Idira, getting her a little bit closer, where we will cast Analyze.
Anything is?
We'll then cast our Expose Weakness.
Was that you? Or
And then our Psychic Shriek,
will do.
doing a 12 damage to the Servitor. Servitor tries to move away and invokes an attack of opportunity from Abelard, who is once again going to move into a position where he can get a charge.
It will be done.
Followed by another strike.
Grey hair, sure hand. Victory is imminent.
Kassius will do the same here.
Sow the seeds of discord.
Luckily, the Servitor cannot do any attacks of opportunity, so we'll charge in again. And then another strike. Unfortunately, leaving the Servitor on 1 HP.
Will triumph.
So hopefully Argenta here will be able to move into a position to finish him off on this turn.
In battle.
With a 75% chance, that looks quite likely, and with that, the Servitor is dropped, and this encounter is finished, and we once again get another level up. So let's quickly loot these corpses.
A child was saved from death. 1,000 heretics were burning alive.
And it seems we missed something back in this room. We need to go back and loot Mort's corpse, where we find a helmet that unfortunately Kassius can't use because it requires follower in the dogmatic conviction, which we will never be able to attain. Seems Abelard has a wound, so we're going to cure that,
Is much appreciated.
so we don't get any more permanent debuffs. And now we'll go ahead and go through our level up again. So here things get a little bit more interesting. We gain our decisive action. And for Kassius's talent, there are two options we can take here, one being Adrenaline Surge, which reduces the cost of psychic powers by 1 on the first turn, or Warp Saturation, which grants a +5 toughness bonus for each psychic effect that the character is under. Both of these are quite strong, as we will always be casting Iron Arm on ourselves, so that +5 toughness will always be in effect. However, for this first level, we will be taking Adrenaline Surge instead. Iron Arm we're going to be casting every first round, without fail. And reducing this cost down to 0 is going to pay off quite a bit in the long run. For Abelard then, he also gains the Daring Breach decisive action, and for his talent we're going to keep it simple and give him the Thick Skin talent. This increases his deflection by 1, but also grants him increased parry chance equal to 25% of his total armor. Idira is up next. She gains also Dismantling Attack, but for her talent we're going to give her either the Comprehensive Analysis talent, which if the target has 2 or more exploits they gain an additional 1, or the Continuous Analysis, which at the end of the operator's turn the enemy with the most exploits gains an additional exploit. In this case we're going to go with Comprehensive Analysis. And that just leaves Argenta, who gains the Firearm Mastery decisive action, and for her talent we can either choose here between Muzzle Velocity or Point Blank. Point Blank grants her a greater chance of damage the closer she is to a target, and Muzzle Velocity increases the first hit of a burst attack by the weapon's rate of fire. For Argenta though, for now we're going to take the Point Blank talent. And with that, I think we come to a natural ending point for today's episode. I had really hoped to finish off the prologue today, but this thing is a lot longer than I remember it being. Anyway, we should be able to get that done early in the next episode and then get on to greater and grander things. We'll also be gaining our first 2 achievements in the next episode. As always, thanks very much for watching. If you liked what you saw today, please remember to leave a like and subscribe for more. I'll be trying to get another episode of this out sometime next week. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.